Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing some fall DIYs. I'm so excited to share these with you. Now, I found these cute little owls when I was shopping at Dollar Tree. They're so adorable, had to pick them up. Here's a simple DIY that you can do to update them. So grab your favorite chalk paint. I'm using Waverly white chalk paint. I'm gonna paint 2 coats on the owl. Once it has a chance to dry, I'm going to come back in with sandpaper and pull out all the detail. It really helps the owl stand out and it gives it a whole fresh new look. Next, I grabbed one of these pumpkin wreath forms at Dollar Tree. I was so excited to find this, you guys. You're also going to need some twine as well. So I started with my twine at the very top. I'm gonna hot glue it on, and then I'm just going to start wrapping it around the top portion to cover my stem. Next, I wanted to wrap the outer portion of my wreath. So I'm just going to wrap it around, hot gluing periodically. You're gonna need some beads for this. I suggest grabbing them on Amazon. I'll put the ones that I use down in the description box. So you're gonna use your wire cutters to cut the top of the wreath form, and you're gonna start lacing on your wood beads. Once you get it to the top, grab your hot glue and you're going to place it back exactly where it was before and let the glue dry before you move on. You're gonna repeat those steps on your wreath. I just love the way this pumpkin turned out. I hope you guys are able to recreate it. For this next project, I grabbed some landscape timbers. I only got one of them. You can purchase these at Lowe's, Home Depot. I wanted to make several rustic pumpkins out of this. So I went through and marked where I wanted to cut these. I needed several different pumpkins. I wanted them all different shapes. Then I cut them down on my saw. Next, I'm gonna go through with my sandpaper and just get any rough edges sanded down from where we cut them. You can see I have a variety of these, maybe 10, 11, and they're all different sizes. I grabbed these little twine pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna use these as the stem. So I'm just going to add these with hot glue to the top. Now, the reason I'm making so many of these is I thought they would make a really cute centerpiece. This is a really inexpensive way to have a centerpiece that stands out by creating several different pumpkins with a really inexpensive item. I added these to my kitchen table with just a few leaves and a table runner. Next, I grabbed this basket from the thrift store. Loved the way it looked, thought it would make a really cool wreath. So I'm gonna add in some pumpkins that I had. I'm gonna start by putting in Walmart sacks to fill it up with. I'm gonna add the burlap to the front so that you can't see those Walmart sacks. Then I'm gonna start in with my larger pumpkins that I had. Then I'm gonna start adding some smaller ones. Most of these are from Dollar Tree, but you can get them from Walmart as well. Now you can see I have several little holes, so I like using these leaves. I believe I bought these several years ago from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I just think they work really well with my fall decor, and it helps to fill in where you have holes. These little pumpkins are from Dollar Tree. They work so great. I love having these. If you see them at Dollar Tree this year, make sure you pick them up because I have used them in a ton of different crafts. I'm just going to add those around. To hang it up, I'm going to use a burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and here's how it looks on my front door. All right, so you're gonna have to grab your Easter stuff and get a couple of Easter eggs for this next project. So these Easter eggs I picked up at Walmart. So I'm just going to hot glue them together so they don't come apart when I put them in the project. So I had some medium drop cloth. So if you had any kind of canvas, you could use that for this project. So I'm going to take the canvas and I'm going to put my egg in the middle of the canvas. And I'm going to cut a piece that I can wrap around about 1/3 of the egg. Then I'm just going to start hot gluing it up the side and wrapping the canvas. Then I'm going to start tucking in the edges and hot gluing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut off any excess so it just makes it easier to add on the fabric. And then you can see here I'm going to fold the fabric and wrap it up and hot glue it in place. Once I have the fabric on, I'm going to come back in with nautical rope, wrapping it around, hot gluing quite a bit just to make sure it's all secure. I'll add the nautical rope until I get to the very top section. I'm going to leave a little bit of area at the top to add in one of these Dollar Tree sticks to act as the stem to my acorn. Now I did cut them in half because I felt like they were a little big, but I don't want to see any of the egg at the end, so I'm making sure I have enough nautical rope to cover it. And I love these little acorns. They're one of my favorite projects for fall. Next, I grabbed a basket from Dollar Tree as well as some of this nautical rope that they have on hand. I love this stuff and I'm going to start by wrapping it around my basket. I'm going to start at the bottom and then I'm just going to continue to wrap it up. The key with this is making sure that you don't see the basket when you're done. So you want to make sure that you're wrapping it really tightly. That's going to make it look so much better. Now you may have to add additional rope because you're not going to be able to get around the whole piece with just one. When I get to the top, I'm going to add handle pieces to the side. And then I'm just going to decorate it with a few pumpkins I had on hand. And again, I'm going to come in with those same leaves. And here's a look at how the basket turned out. Next up, I'm going to go to the Crafters Square at Dollar Tree. I'm going to grab a few of their little pallets as well as this gather sign. I'm going to start by hot gluing the pallets together so I have 3 in a row, and I'm going to make 2 rows. Next, I'll add popsicle sticks to the back so I can connect my 2 rows together. With the gather sign, I'm going to paint that with 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint. The palette, I'm going to use my favorite Vintage Effects wash. I'll just add that on and I'll wipe off any excess paint, and it's a paint that gives the look of a stain. I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to the edges of the gather sign. Next, I'll hot glue the gather sign onto the palette. I grabbed some of these rub-on transfer letters from Dollar Tree and I'll add those to the gather sign. And here's a look at how it's styled on my shelf. Next, I grabbed this little piece from the thrift store. I cut off the side rope and I'm going to paint it with Waverly white chalk paint. Next, I added the thankful sign that they have at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to add back in my nautical rope because I wanted this to hang. So I added nautical rope to both sides, and then I'm going to tie the 4 pieces together at the top. I styled this with pumpkins I had from Walmart and Hobby Lobby and added in my green leaves. You can also add in cotton pieces as well. So for this next project, I grabbed some canisters at the thrift store. I just love the shape of them and thought they were really cute. I'm gonna paint them with 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint on the base. The top portion, I'm going to make the lid a metallic color. I cut out some labels that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add coffee and sugar to these. And I'm also going to add some clear coat over the top just to kind of hold the labels in place. And I love the way these look styled in my kitchen. You can grab any container from the thrift store and really make it your own. I was really excited to find this mirror from the thrift store, so I grabbed it for a fall DIY. I'm gonna be covering it with some vinyl paper that I had on hand, and I'm just measuring it to fit into my mirror, and then I'll try to lay it as flat as possible without any air bubbles. That can kind of be a task, but you know, I did the best I could. Next, I'm going to lightly brush on some white chalk paint and wipe off the excess. I didn't want it to be completely covered, just covered enough. Then I went into Cricut and created a sign that says, "Give thanks with a grateful heart," and I cut that out. I'm gonna weed it out on black vinyl. And then I'm gonna add each of the pieces to the sign. All right, you guys, you're gonna have to let me know which fall project was your favorite. I love knowing your guys' opinion, and let me know what colors you're gonna be using in your fall decor down in the comment, and I'll talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.